Good evening, family. Welcome. Happy New Year's to everybody. Welcome to the Underrated Darkness, my channel, the Underrated Darkness. Underrated one, the grinder. Made it through the New Year's. Like I said, I supposed to do it last night about Charles Mingus, the late great Charles Mingus. I'm gonna hit you with that banger in a few minutes. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in. Also, I got another banger. 11 o'clock. It's gonna be a continuation from last night. It's gonna be New Year's gathering, the aftermath, part two. So you still want to talk, still want to converse, people. 11 o'clock p.m. tonight, Eastern time. Check the. I'm gonna hit y'all with this. Then after that, I want you to come back at 11 o'clock. I'm gonna hit you with another band. We're gonna chop it up, yo. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna that live at 11 o'clock, most likely it's going to be a panel. It's going to be a panel. We're going to talk. And I want people to come. I want people to converse in the chat too. I want to engage more with the people. And also, I'm going to show my food that I made Christmas. It's still good and everything. I'm going to show that in a few minutes. The ones who did not see it and everything, I'm going to do that. So, family, welcome to the Underrated Darkness. Hit the bell when I come for a powerful one. Here with a powerful video or stream. Also, hold on, fam. Let me go check something out and everything. Okay, we'll need some more people to get in. And also, family, we got oh, I'm sorry. Let me get this set up. I like to be organized, fam. I like to be organized. Everything, okay. Wait for some more people to get in. Everybody doing okay? Very much I'm happy with that. And gonna wait for some more people. What I did today, I just rested. I wanted to do it earlier, but I was tired. I was wiped out, family. I was wiped out, and tried to rest, but like I say before, I try to keep my word. I had a problem last night to set up for Charles Vegas, but I was having too much trouble, and it wouldn't fall. So I scratched that out, and that's what I did. The New Year's gathering part one. Again, like I said, part two tonight. Already posted on my community on my channel, so check that out and everything. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in and everything, and we're gonna talk about Charles Mingus. We're gonna read about this great person, the late great jazz innovator Charles Mingus, and it's very important. So we're gonna wait for some more people to come in and chop it up and everything. So, fam, we gonna wait for some more people to come in. What's going on, Michael Johnson? Welcome, family. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Very much appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Need some more people to come in. Then wait some more people. The late great Charles Mingus, one of the jazz innovators, all time of popular music. Oh yeah, Michael Johnson. I will be back tonight, 11 o'clock p.m. The New Year's Gathering Part 2. I want you to come in. I want you to come back to that and have the people to come. We're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna talk about different things. It ain't gonna be like, oh, do like this, talk about the future, talk about things. We're gonna talk tell what you did through today and New Year's and family and stuff like that. So we're gonna chop it up first thing 11 o'clock tonight. If this go a little towards 11, I'll probably switch it up to 11:30. So it really depends. So I want the family. Magamo Justice. What? Get out of here. Welcome, Monica. Excellent bill earlier, Monica. Excellent bill. Very much appreciate. So go wait for some more people. Also, I cooked on Christmas and stuff. I'm gonna show you my food. People say, is it good? It's still good. Long as keep it cold. But after that, the next 2 or 3 days, I usually give it out to the less fortunate and stuff like that. So that's why I got me some trays, and I'm gonna pack stuff up and just give it out and stuff like that. So I'm gonna show that the ones who didn't see it on Christmas. Food's still good, so we gotta learn how to say, that's our part. We like to throw so much stuff out, and sometimes you can take that and freeze it too. It can still have that texture, so watch out. So we need to do that. So wait some more people to pull up. Then we're gonna read about the late great jazz innovator, Charles Mingus. That's one of my heroes too. That's one of my heroes. Andre Toppin, thanks for coming. Like I was saying before, Andre, I'm gonna have another live at 11 o'clock p.m. 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time is the New Year's Gathering Part 2. Also, Monica, just as you can come back to that too. We just gonna chop it up and have a little fun, plan for the future. And so the ones who didn't make it last night, it's extension to tonight. So I ain't really doing nothing. So I'm waiting for some more people to get it. Go about finish this. Just give me a little time to set up. Yeah, definitely. I got y'all. I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm in here with bangers tonight. I'm hitting y'all with bangers. So, so don't worry about it. I got y'all. Wait for some more people to fill up before I start reading about the late great Charles Mingus. So watch out. I hope everybody is doing okay. I hope that whatever your plan, that y'all will get it. So watching. We're gonna start about a few more minutes, family. Just want some more people to fill up. I know where I live at, it is so it was I heard a few shots pop 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 pop. That was it. Most of the people where I live at, they went out. So um yeah, they went out. So but it's been quiet. I've been like, I ate a little bit, I rested, got some good rest. So I'm happy for that. Um so we're gonna get this thing going. All right. Hit the like button, family. Thank you very much. Hit the like button. Very much appreciated. Hit the like button. Oh yeah, I did not forget to show y'all the food too that I made for Christmas. It's still good. It gonna be though. Hold on for that, family. We'll show the food. Excuse me, I will show the food. So I was waiting for some more people to come through. Yeah, matter of fact, let me show my food right now. Oh, let me hit this first. And press one, you see it. And press one, you didn't see it. This is what I made for Christmas. Stove style stuffing, turkey, move back, mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese, homemade candy yams, and cranberry. So this is what I made for Christmas. And drink is different, so I'm drinking orange soda. You gotta have something to break it up and stuff like that. So that's what I made for Christmas, and the food is still good as long as you keep it refrigerated. That's all that counts. So Ryan Clark, that's good. What's good? Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Wait, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, the ones who come in are gonna have another live after this, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tonight. Um the New Year's gathering part 2. So the ones who didn't show up today, I mean in New Year's, y'all can show up to y'all come tonight. We gonna, we're gonna chop it up. Tell me, what you did today, what the rest of the stuff, planning for. We're gonna have fun tonight. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta let your head down. So 11 o'clock p.m. tonight. If the live stream is gonna go towards 11, I will switch it up to 11:30. So then y'all can come at 11:30. All right, family. But I feel like I say whatever I said about Charles Mingus. 11 o'clock tonight. Come back here, and then we gonna chop it up. New Year's gathering part 2. Oh, Reliable, what's going on, brother? How you feel? I'm glad everybody is fine. I think it's about go wait for like maybe 5 more minutes. Then we'll pull up. Then we'll read about the late great Charles Mingus. Wait, some more people to come in. Let's see some structure. I'm still here, fam. I'm still here. I'm just checking out some things. Oh, everybody's doing all right. Everything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna eat some of this food now. Okay. Check this out. Okay. Oh, Reliable, you see my food Christmas, right? Um, Cause almost we get ready, fam. I'm getting ready to start on read about Charles Mingus. Let me double check everything. All right. What's up? Oh, I'm gonna go so. Okay, family, here it goes. The late great. Thank you. The late great Charles Mingus. All right, here it comes. Oh, what the fuck is going on here? The late great Charles Mingus, born April 22nd, 1922, passed away January 5th, 1979, was an American jazz double bass, basic pianist, composer, and band leader, a major proponent of collective improvisation. He is considered one of the greatest jazz musicians and composers in history, with a career spanning 3 decades in collaboration with other jazz legends such as Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Charlie Parker, that I did a live stream about it, Dizzy Gillespie, Danny Richmond, I gotta hit that one, and Herbie Hancock. Many composers continue to be played by contemporary music range from repertory bands as Mingus Big Band, Mingus Dynasty, and Mingus Orchestra to the high school students who play the charts and compete in the Charles Mingus High School competition. In 1993, the Library of Congress acquired Mingus collected papers, including scores, sound recordings, correspondence, and photos in what they describe the most important acquisition of a manuscript collection related to jazz, the library history, early life and career. Charles Mingus was born Nogales, Arizona. His father, Charles Mingus Sr., was a sergeant in the U.S. Army. Mingus was largely raised in the Watts area of Los Angeles. His maternal grandfather was a Chinese-British subject from Hong Kong, and his maternal grandmother was an African-American from the southern United States. Mingus was the third great-grandson of the family founded. Hayaki was, by most accounts, a German immigrant. His ancestors include German-American, African-American, and Native American. In Mingus' autobiography, Beneath the Underdog, his mother was described as daughter as an Englishman and a Chinese woman, and the father was the son of the black farm worker and a Swedish woman. Charles Mingus Sr. claimed to have been raised by his mother and her husband as a white person until he was 14. When the mother revealed to her family that the child's true father was a black slave, after which he had to run away from his family and live on his own, the autobiography doesn't confirm whether Charles Mingus Sr. or Mingus himself believed the story was true, and whatever it was merely was an embellished version of the Mingus family. Lanji. His mother allowed only church-related music in their home, but Mingus developed an early love for other music, especially Duke Ellington. He studied trombone, later cello, although he was unable to follow the cello professionally because at the time it was nearly impossible for a black musician to make a career of classical music, and the cello was not yet accepted as a jazz instrument. That is wow. That is crazy, family. Despite this, Mingus was still attached to the cello. He studied bass with the Red Calendar, Calendar in the late 1930s. Calendar even commented that the cello was still Mingus' main instrument. And beneath the underdog, Mingus states that he did not actually stop learning bass until Bobby Collette accepted him into his swing band under the stipulation that he would be the band bass player. Due to poor education, the young Mingus could not read music notably quickly enough to join the local youth orchestra. This had a serious impact on his early musical experience, leaving him feel abstracted, ostracized from the classical music world. So these days, these early experiences, in addition to his lifelong confrontations with racism, were reflected in his music. Was often focused on themes racism, discrimination, and prejudice. And I would urge people to listen to his compositions. Sometimes it sounds dark, but at the same time, he is actually toned too. So he's one of the few jazz innovators that actually talk to the spirits of our people. I'm not saying that other jazz players had done it, but he has stuck to it and everything. That's why I said, to me, he one of the very underrated, well-rounded jazz innovators ever. I want to throw that in. Most of his cello technique he learned was applicable applicable to double bass when he took up the instrument in high school. He studied 5 years with Herman Reinschading, principal bassist of the New York Philharmonic, and compositional techniques with Lloyd Reese. Throughout much of his career, he played a bass made in 1927 by a German maker, Ernest Heinrich Roth. Beginning in his teen years, Mingus was writing quite advanced pieces, many similar to third string because they incorporate elements of classical music. A number of them was recorded in 1960, conducted Guthrie Sculpture, and released pre-Bird, referring to Charlie Bird Parker, excuse me. Mingus was one of the many musicians whose perspective on music were altered by Parker into pre and post Bird eras. Mingus gained a reputation as a bass prodigy. His first major professional job was playing with former Ellington clarinetist Barney Bigard. He toured with Louis Armstrong in 1943, and in early 1945 was recorded in Los Angeles in a band led by Russell Jacquet, which also includes Teddy Edwards, Maurice Simon, Bill Davis, and Chico Hamilton. And in May that year in Hollywood, again with Teddy Edwards, in a band led by Howard McGee. Then he played in Lionel Hampton band, the late 1940s. Hampton performed, recorded several of Mingus' pieces, a popular trio Mingus, Red Novo, and Tali Follow in 1950 and 1951. Received considerable acclaim, but Mingus' race caused problems with club owners, and he left the group. Mingus was briefly a member of the Ellington Band in 1953 as a substitute for bass Wendell Marshall. Mingus' notorious temper led to be one of the few musicians personally fired by Ellington, Bubba Marley, and drummer Bobby Durham, among the others. After an off-stage fight between Mingus and Juan Tarzan. Also in the early 1950s, before attaining commercial recognition as a band leader. Mingus played gig with Charlie Parker, who composing and improvisations greatly inspired and influenced him. Mingus considered Parker the greatest genius and innovator in jazz history, but he had a love-hate relationship with Parker legacy. Mingus blamed Parker mythology for a derivative crop to pretend to Parker's throne. He was also conflicted and something discussed by Parker's self-destruct habits and the romantic lure of drug addiction they offered to other jazz musicians. In response to many sax players who emulate Parker, Mingus titled a song, "If Charlie Parker Was Gunslinger, There Would Be a Whole Lot of Dead Copycats." It was released by Mingus Dynasty as Gunslinger Bird. Mingus was married 4 times. Jeannie Gross, Lucia Selly Geminas, Julie Starkey, and Susan Graham O'Garo. Based in New York. In 1961, Mingus spent time at the house of his mother, sister Louise, and her husband, Fast Williams, in Jamaica, Queens. Subsequently, Mingus invited Williams to play at the 1962 concert. In 1952, Mingus co-founded Debut Records with Max Roach so he could conduct his recording careers as he saw fit. The name originally from his desire to document unrecorded young musicians. Despite this, the best-known recording the company issued was the most prominent figures in bebop. On May 15, 1953, Mingus joined Dizzy Gillespie, Parker, Bud Powell, and Roach for a concert at Massey Hall in Toronto, which is the last recording documented of Gillespie and Parker played together. After the event, Mingus chose to overdub his barely audible bass part back in New York. The original version was issued later. The 2 10 albums of the Massey Hall concert one feature of the trio of Powell, Mingus, and Roach were among debut recorded earliest release. Mingus may have object to that way the major record companies treated musicians, but Gillespie once commented that he did not receive any royalties for years and years for his Massey Hall appearance. The record, however, often regarded amongst the finest live jazz recordings. One story had that Mingus was involved in a notorious incident while playing the 1955 club date bill as a reunion with Parker, Powell, and Roach. Powell, who suffered from alcoholism and mental illness, possible exacerbated by a several police beating and electroshock treatment, had to be helped off the stage, unable to play or speak coherently. As Powell anticipation became apparent, Parker stood in one spot at a microphone chatting Bud Powell, as he beseeching Powell's return. Allegedly, Parker continued to this incarnate for several minutes after Powell departed. To his amusement and Mingus' exacerbation. Hold on, they scratched that word out. Why did they scratch the word? Exportation. Okay. Mingus took another microphone and announced to the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen, please don't associate me with any of this. This is not jazz. These are sick people." This was Parker's last public performance About a week later, he died after substance abuse. Mingus often worked with a mid-sized ensemble around 8 to 10 members, a rotating musicians known as the Jazz Workshop. Mingus broke new ground consistently, demanding that his musicians be able to explore and develop their perceptions on the spot. Those who joined the workshop or sweatshops, as they were colorful, dubbed by musicians, including Pepper Adams, Jacob Bond, Booker Irving, John Handy, Jimmy Kepler, Charles McPherson, and Horace Parlan. Mingus shaped these musicians into cohesive improvisational machine that in many ways anticipated free jazz. Yeah, Charles Mingus was. A lot of people say that Charles Mingus was one of the few that incorporate free jazz. I'm reading it right now. Charles Mingus. All right, family. Some musicians dubbed the workshop a university for jazz. Podcasts, Eritos, and other recordings. The decade that allowed no, the decade that follows is generally regarded as Mingus' most productive and fertile period. Over a 10-year period, made 30 records for a number of labels: Atlantic, Candid, Columbia, Impulse, and others. And pace perhaps unmatched by other musicians except Ellington. Mingus had already recorded around 10 albums as a band leader, but 1956 was a breakthrough year for him with the release of Peter Craps's Erector, arguably his first major work as a band leader and composer. Like Ellington, Mingus wrote songs with specific musicians in mind, and his bands for Erectus included adventurous musicians, piano player Mark Wandon, alto sax Jackie McLean, and the Sonny Rollins influenced tender of J.R. Montrose. The title song is a 10-minute tone poem depicting the rise of a man from his Hamitic roots to the eventual downfall. A section of piece was free imposition, free a structure, a theme. Another album from this period, The Clown, 1957, also on Atlantic Records. The title track, which features narrated by humorist Gene Shepard, was the first to feature drummer Danny Richmond, who remained his preferred drummer until Mingus' death in 1979. The two men formed of the most impressive and versatile rhythm sections in jazz. Both was accomplished performers seeking to stretch the boundaries of their music while staying true to its roots. When joining pianist Jacob Byrd, they were dubbed the Mighty Three. Wow, impressive. Mingus, and other works. In 1959, Mingus and his Jazz Workshop musicians record one of his best-known albums, Mingus, even in a year standout masterpiece, including Dave Brubeck, Time Out, Miles Davis, Kinds of Blue, John Coltrane, Giant Steps, and Omid Coleman Prophetic, The Shape of Jazz to Come. So I'm gonna stop right there. So Charles Mingus was playing one of the big composers of these people, and but at the same time, this was little by little he started respected to be as a jazz player. I mean, to be as a band leader, but he played one of the few biggest jazz scores back then that they consider as giant right now. So understand the magnitude that he's built it, family. Don't you understand that? Oh, family. Shoot. The Shapes of Jazz come. This was a major achievement. Features such classic Mingus compositions as Goodbye Pork Pie Hat and a G to Les Young, another jazz legend, and the vocalist version of Fabs, Fabulous and Fabus, a protest against segregation Arkansas Governor Orvar E. Fabus that features double time sections. Also during 1959, Mingus recorded the album Blues and Roots, which was released the following year. As Mingus explained to his liner Roots, I was born swinging and clapped my hands in the church as a little boy, but I had grown up and liked to do things. Then I like to do things. See, clap my hands like a little boy. I had grown up and I like to do things. Then do things other than just swing. But blues can do more than just swing. Mingus witnessed Omelette Ahmet Coleman legendary and controversial 1960 appearance at New York City's Five Spot Jazz Club. He initially expressed rather mixed feelings for Coleman innovative music. If the free form guys could play the same tune twice, then I would say they were playing something. Most of the time, they use their own fingers on the sax, and they don't even know what's going on to come out. They experimenting. That same year, however, Mingus formed a quartet with Richmond trumpet Ted Curson and multi-instrumentalist Eric Duffy. This ensemble features the same instruments as Coleman Quartet and is often regarded as Mingus rising to the challenge new standard established by Coleman. The quartet recalled both Charles Mingus present Charles Mingus and Mingus. The former also features the version of Fables and Fabulous and Fables with lyrics. Epic title, original, Fabulous, Fabulous. Only misstep occurred in this era, 1962 Town Hall concert. An ambitious program, it was plagued with trouble from its inception. Mingus' vision, now known as IFAC, was finally realized as a conductor, country scholar in a concert in 1989, 10 years after Mingus' death. The Black Saint and the Sinner, Lady, and other in post office. Hold on, family. Hold on, family. Hold on. Oh, hold on, family. Okay. I'm getting the Saint, the Black Saint, and the Sinner, Lady, and other post albums. In 1963, Mingus released The Black Saint and The Sinner Lady, a sprawling multi-section masterpiece described as one of the greatest achievements in orchestration by any composer in jazz history. I can go in popular music history, but they said jazz history, so we're gonna leave it at that. The album was also unique in that Mingus asked for his psychiatrist, Dr. Eamon Pollock, to provide notes for the record. Mingus also released Mingus Play Piano, a unaccompanied album features some full improvised pieces in 1963. In addition, 1963 saw the release of Mingus, a album praised by critics Nat Hentoff. In 1964, Mingus put together one of his best-known groups, a sextet, including Danny Richmond, Jacquard Byrd, Ed Dolphin, that's the player, trumpet, Johnny Coles, and tenor saxophonist Clifford Jordan. The group was recorded frequently during his short term. Cope fell ill and left during a European tour. Dolphin stayed in Europe after the tour ended and died suddenly in Berlin on June 28, 1964. It was also the year that Mingus met his future wife, Sue Grant Ogara. The couple was married in 1966 by Alec Ginsberg. Facing financial hardship, Mingus was evicted from his New York home in 1966. Mingus pace slowed somewhat in the late 1960s and early 1970s. In 1974, after his 1970 success with Charles McPherson, Eddie Preston, and Bobby Jones disbanded, he formed a quintet with Richmond pianist Don Pullen, trumpet Jack Warthrat, and saxophonist George Adams. They recorded two well-received albums, Change 1 and Change 2. Mingus also played with Charles McPherson in many of his groups during this time. Curbia and Jazz Fusion in 1976 sought to blend Colombian music, in parentheses, Colombia, of the title, with more traditional jazz forms. In 1971, Mingus taught for a semester at the University of Buffalo, the State University of New York, as his lead professor of music. By the mid-1970s, Mingus was suffering from atrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. And his once formidable bass technique declined until he could no longer play the instrument. He continued composing, however, and supervised a number of recordings before his death. At the time of his death, he was worked with Joni Mitchell on the album eventually titled Mingus. And people say, who Joni Mitchell? Joni Mitchell is a she was a classic rock singer and songwriter. And she was one of the few white women that loved jazz. She did like quite a few compositions with jazz legends. And so one of those was Charles Mingus. Okay, I need to put that in. Title Mingus, which includes lyrics added by Mitchell to his compositions, including Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. The album features the talents of Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, and another influence based in the composer Jaco Pastorius. Mingus died age 56. in Cuernavaca, Mexico, where he had traveled for treatment and convalescence. His ashes were scattered in the Ganges River. So, and then let's see, we're gonna pull up. He was in movies. He contributed most of the music for John Converses in 1959, Greedy New York City Shadows. In 1961, he appeared as a bassist, an actor in the British film All Night Long. In 1968, Charles Richmond directed the documentary Mingus, Charles Mingus, 1968. 1991, Ray David produced a documentary entitled Weird Nightmare. It contained footage of Mingus and interviews with artists making House Werner's tribute album of the same name, including Elvis Costello, Charlie Watts, Keith Richards, and Vernon Reid. So it goes to show he was well respected in popular music. Charlie Mingus, Triumph of the Underdog, 78 minutes, a documentary film on Charles Mingus, directed by Don McGlynn and released in 1998. Before I can finish it up, I will come back with another banger, 11 o'clock tonight, p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to continue the New Year's Gathering Part 2. I did a gathering, so I decided that I'll put that Part 1, then we're going to have this Part 2. So anybody want to join the panel or that one 11 o'clock, feel free. Drop your email in the chat. Won't be no problem. Okay, so come back at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to chop it up again. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. Yeah. Yeah, he died 79. Yes. He died the same year my younger brother was born too. Welcome, Queen, who I am. You know, so. But yeah, very true. You're absolutely right. That's what I do jazz, but I'm gonna go put up some more stuff again. Like I said before, 11 o'clock tonight. Come family, come back here. Tell people to come back, and we're gonna chop it up. Part 2, the aftermath. You know what y'all did today, and that's how we gonna do it. All right. So let me go some more. So I'm gonna let you go so I can cause I gotta finish eating. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show my food too, cause I showed my food earlier. So I already read it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I read about that. Well, it goes to show that I told you I might be hitting y'all. We hit that. Okay. Like I told you, I be hitting y'all with the bangers, man. So this is the late great Charles Mingus, right? He's one of the founders of free jazz, of jazz. You ask me, I think he is the father of it. And other parts of jazz. He had played one of the most important compositions of different jazz giants. He played multi instruments. So that means of each instrument he was writing. He was a person He was a when he was younger, he couldn't read, so you have to overcome that. So when people talk about jazz, they never really mention Charles Mingus Jr. But we need to put him up there because there's a quite a few people has he composed, like the great Herbie Hancock. Now a lot of people don't understand about Herbie Hancock. He was around of a jazz composer named other jazz innovator named I read about him. I read about him too. I did it. Ramsey Lewis. Okay, so Charles Mingus, he influenced a lot of people that we don't get credit to. That I mean, not us, but quite a bit of the, the music community right now don't give him credit. And he left a lot of lot of music, and plus he was teaching other upcoming jazz players too, because he understand the importance of it. So got another jazz innovator, the late great Charles Mingus Jr. Got to pay respect to the man, and that's one of my heroes. And so when you hear Herbie Hancock, when you hear other people, he was around. He was around Charles Mingus Jr. So yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorites too. Queen Who I Am. Oh man, that's one of my favorites. Let me show you my food that I did on Christmas. In case y'all didn't see it, this is mac and cheese. This is stone style stuffing. This is homemade candy ass homemade macaroni and cheese. I'm sorry. This is turkey. Um, and this is cranberry sauce, and then little, you know, orange soda. But yeah. So I think that yeah, he do the homework. He's a lot of people is emulating him and everything. And also, hold on, let me that's leftovers on Queen Who I Am. That's leftovers. That's love who I am. And also understand this too. He was around the bebop years too, in the mid-50s. There are some people say that Charlie Parker brought the shock to it, that people say he coined, that people say he created bebop. Leave right there, he did. Charles Mingus Jr. brought the bass to it. And after during the time, he started learning to play piano. There's some people say that he was an excellent piano player too. Don't say him, but when I was learning about him, um when I was learning about him when I was very young. That you gotta understand, quite a few jazz musicians, some of them you hear, oh, this, that. I think that I think Miles Davis could play another instrument. The late great John Coltrane played more instruments too. There's quite a few they play, but you don't hear from it. But they also compose of that instrument too that we gotta think about. So a lot of these musicians that come up, they just play like one song, but they involve, and that's why Charles Mingus don't get the credit he deserves. That he is a multi composer. He could write. He wrote stuff that racism and stuff that it was unheard back then. I'm not gonna say jazz was like the forefront was right in when they see what happened. R&B was too, but it was some like restricted. But jazz was out there. There's a lot of them that were composed that, you know, instrumental, and then later on, excuse me, that they put words to it. And Charles Mingus was the spearhead of that. You know, so and also Charles Mingus, I think with Max Roach, that's Max Roach was Duke Ellington's partner, writing partner and musical partner. You know, they started they started debut records, early 50s. And so, because he knew the importance that the jazz had to grow, you know, especially like the business of it and the compose of it, you know. So that was big there too. But the ones who came late, you know, I read about that already. I'm just giving you little pieces here and there to learn, to, you know, give you, let you know, to have this had a certain appreciation of this man. One of my heroes, hands down. One of the jazz innovators of all time who do not, again, I had to say this, who do not get the credit that he deserves. He don't get the credit that he deserves. So, that, and oh yeah, and also family. I did I did a stream about John Coltrane too. Look for that too. All right. I'm gonna do some Dizzy Gillespie too. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna close this up. I'm gonna shut this down. I'll be back 11 o'clock. It won't be 11, be a little after 11, but I'll be back 11 o'clock tonight, p.m., less than an hour from now, and we're gonna chop it up again, part 2 of New Year's gathering, and let's just chop it up. So that's gonna be most likely that's gonna be panel discussion. We're gonna have fun. Let's have a little fun tonight. But I just want to hit you. I just want to hit you with Charles Mingus Jr. All right, like I promised a few days, but things didn't work out. But I got it through. So here you go. I'm gonna close out the late great jazz innovator, bad bass player, piano player, composer, one of the best ever, Charles Mingus Jr. And I see. Thanks for coming. You just missed it. Catch it on the rewind. I see. I will be back tonight, 11 o'clock p.m. Part 2 of New Year gathering. So I want all y'all to come back. Okay, I want y'all to come back, and tell other people to come too. All right. I want y'all to tell other people to come too. Roseland, how you feel? Thanks for coming. You welcome anytime, Queen. You know. So everybody, 11 o'clock p.m. tonight, less than an hour from now, I will be back. I will be back. So come back. Let's still have. Oh, okay, I see. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I was into it. Okay, so I'm gonna close that up. Thank you. So I'm gonna close this up. Come back 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Less than an hour from now. Tell the people to come. It's going down like that. But thank you so much to come out. Very much appreciated. Again, Happy New Year's. 11 o'clock p.m. I will be back. It's a tiny late. This one is Ghost. Hold on, let me read it. Oh, okay. On this one, Ghost